Back in the early 90s, the video game industry was at an all-time low. Video games were pretty bad. Games like E.T. were certainly not helping their case. To this day, E.T. is considered one of the worst video games of all time. And it was no exaggeration. I mean, look at this crap. This game is bad. It's bad even for Atari 2600 standards. Video games would have such a bad rep up until 1985, where a company would release a game console that was marketed as a toy rather than a video game console. That being the Nintendo Entertainment System. But before we focus on our video game savior, let's focus on what came first. Back in the arcades, there was a game called Donkey Kong. Definitely not a play on another character that will bring legal issues for Nintendo. Why am I mentioning this? Because this game was where our hero made his debut. Back then, he was known as Jumpman. According to Shigeru Miyamoto, the name of our hero would be named after Mario Sega Lee. Sega Lee. Sega. Why does that sound so familiar? That character, of course, being Super Mario. Mario has been part of the gaming world for almost 40 years as I'm writing the script. Mario has not only become the most recognizable video game character in history, he's also one of the biggest characters in all of fiction. Up there with characters like Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny. Which is why I decided to do a marathon on the series. I thought about either talking about the classics or the 3D games, but then I had an epiphany. Why not talk about every mainline Mario game ever? Then I started to list all the games I had to talk about, and there's a lot of games. And how shall we start with this marathon? By talking about the first 5 classic Mario games. Yep, I'm not including the 2 land games for now. I will make a separate video on them. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, how about we start this Mario Marathon with the games that started it all. Now, why am I holding this instead of something from the NES? It's because I don't have an NES. Hey, wait a minute. Something isn't right. I know what it's missing. Here we go. Okie-dokie. Yep, I'm gonna be dressed as Mario for the whole marathon. This is gonna be a long-ass marathon. Super Mario Bros., the game that started it all for the Super Mario series, released in 1985 as a launch title for the NES. This is one of the first video games I have ever played. Not on the original Not on the original NES. God no. It was on Super Mario All-Stars. And since I won't talk about Super Mario All-Stars in this video, I might as well mention it here. All I'm gonna say to save some time is that it's the definitive way to play these games. Super Mario Bros. Is a game with a story that is so deep, I cried. Bowser kidnapped the princess called Peach, and Mario must rescue her. Yeah, the story is pretty much non-existent. Whoa, just like every Mario game ever. Crazy. In this case, that's fine. Keep in mind, this game is supposed to be like an arcade that was in your home, so the lack of story is totally fine. This game is a 2D platformer.
What?
So the controls are pretty simple. A to jump, B to run, shoot fireballs, yada yada yada. The level design is simple, but great for speedrunning. This game also brings forward the 3 first power-ups in the franchise. The Super Mushroom makes Mario bigger and can get an extra hit, a lifesaver when you really need it. The Fire Flower, iconic for all the right reasons, makes Mario throw fireballs, and he looks hot with it. I am so sorry for that terrible pun. Sadly, if you get hit, you'll go back to small Mario. That kinda sucks. Don't get hit. And the Starman makes Mario invincible for a couple of seconds. That's it. There's also the 1-Up. I don't know if to count this as a power-up, but I had to include it. It basically gives you an extra life, but getting this isn't the only way to get lives. You can also get 100 coins for those precious lives. And also doing This will give you infinite lives. Not really, but it feels like that. Super Mario Bros. Isn't a hard game, but there are moments where the game will catch you by surprise and you will lose some lives. And if you get a game over, which you don't want to, believe me, you'll go all the way to World 1. Yep, no continues or anything. Thanks, game! There's also co-op in this game. If you have a friend or siblings, if you even have siblings, the second player gets to control Luigi. You just have to wait until one or the other dies. Weirdly enough, Luigi looks like Mario when he has the fire flower. How odd. Actually, if you notice, Luigi's base form is the exact color palette of his fire flower form. How odd. The level things are non-existent, but that doesn't matter. There's also the Bowser castles, which are the hardest levels in the game, I guess. And when you defeat Bowser, you get this little turd, oh sorry, Toad, telling Mario, I'm sorry for what I'm about to do.
Sorry, Mario, but a princess in another castle.
Oh, and the music, it's the most iconic in all of gaming for a reason. All I can say is, Koji Kondo, I hate you. Super Mario Bros. Is a simple game, one that thrives in its simplicity. The controls may have not aged well, but with its level design and addictive gameplay, Super Mario Bros. Still stands the time as an icon in all of gaming, and part of the reason for why video games are here to stay. Even so, I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. I'm sure the sequel is much better though, right? Super Mario Bros. 2, The Lost Levels. I'm gonna kill myself. So here's a weird time period. Super Mario Bros. Was so successful that everybody and their mother wanted a sequel. And while Americans did get a sequel with Super Mario Bros. 2, also known as Super Mario Bros. 2 USA, Nintendo of Japan saw the monstrosity that they made and said that we aren't ready. And boy were we not! Super Mario Bros. 2, or Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, is the official sequel to the first game, down to a T. Same music, same characters, same power-ups, but the colors were downgraded. Like, why does the mushroom look like that? Mushrooms kill you? That doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense! Nobody told me that mushrooms could kill you in this game! This game. What's even the point of living if mushrooms can kill you too? I can't even consume drugs anymore! Don't worry, that was just a poison mushroom, not the good one. Even still, that was just mean. If that isn't horrible foreshadowing for this game, then I don't know what is. Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels is pretty much the first ever DLC expansion pass. Nintendo saw that people liked the first game and said, what if we make the level design wow high? And this is what came out. The Lost Levels is a bad sequel, and not just for its bad level design. It's a bad sequel because it didn't fix the issues of the first game. The controls are the same, you can't walk backwards, no new power-ups, a power down for some reason. I would say that the game didn't bring anything of value, but sadly, it brought something. Luigi sucks in this game, man. Sad to say because Luigi is based, but his jump is super high and he is super slippery. Great. There's not much to say about this game. It's a bad sequel, both for its level design and the lack of quality of life improvements in the gameplay. There's also no co-op mode anymore. What's even the point if I can't laugh at my friends or family members when they die? Did I mention how many times you had to beat the game just to see the lost levels? 8 times! Oh, so that's why it's called the Lost Levels. It's because by the time I'm done playing this piece of shit, I'm throwing it to the trash! What do you get? A kiss from Peach. And that's it! Oh, and that's the story of this game. Peach gets kidnapped and Toad says that she's in another castle. Thank you for playing, jackass! 4 out of 10. At least we're playing a good game now. Super Mario Bros. 2 USA. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Did you know that this game is actually Doki Doki Panic in Japan? Super Mario Bros. 2 is Well, it's a good game, but also it's kind of weird. First of all, there's no princess to save. No Bowser, no Koopas, no nothing. The only things that came back from the first game was the coins, the mushroom, which both can be obtained if you have a door that can teleport you to another universe. Imagine if you could do that IRL.
All I see is darkness. Where am I? Wait, what the fuck?
Also back is the Invincible Star, meaning we can run on anything like an asshole. The 1-ups are back, but they're really rare. Actually, when you beat a level, you play a slot machine with the coins you collected. So this is where my gambling addiction started. Don't think for a second that because this is the weirdest Mario game of all time, nothing of value was added, because we have some mainstays here. For example, Birdo. This is the game where Birdo made her official debut. Insensitive for today's standards, but still cool nonetheless. Bob-ombs also appears in this game. In most games, they're adorable, but in this one, they will kill you before you even know it. And who could forget the greatest enemies in Mario history, the Shy Guys. Definitely the peak in character design. Nothing comes close to this beautiful weirdo. Unless we're talking about him. But it also brought 4 playable characters for the first time in the series. Obviously we have Mario and Luigi, Mario being the overall guy. Probably the character I use more because he gets the job done. Luigi, just like in Lost Levels, he has a high jump. Unlike that game, he's not slippery, and with that alone, this game is better than Lost Levels by default. But for the first time in the series, Peach is playable. She's slow as shit, but at least she can float around for like a second, making platforming much easier and much nicer. Toad, the fastest boy around. Toad is the best for sand levels. He can dig up the sand in an instant. It's super convenient and makes him a top tier character in the game. But with 4 characters, it also brings forward different enemies. Remember Mouser? Remember Claw Grip? Remember Tri-Clyde? Oh, and who could forget the big bad of this game, Wart. He's so weird looking. I kinda love him. It's so weird how all these boss enemies never appeared again after this game. It's almost like this game was a dream? No, gosh darn it! Yep, if you're wondering why everything was super weird in this game, it's because the whole adventure was Mario's dream. Wait, if we got a game over on Dreamland, does that mean that Mario dies? Who cares? This game is fun. Despite its weirdness, Super Mario Bros. 2 is a good game. Better than the first game and the second game. The multiple characters add replay value. The debuting enemies are awesome. Wart my beloved. It's a really fun game. 7 out of 10. But now, we're going with the game that was announced on a movie called The Wizard. The sequel that is regarded as not only one of the best Mario games ever, but one of the greatest video games of all time. Let's get into it.
Super Mario Brothers 3!
Let's get into that plot summary. Peach doesn't get kidnapped this time. Woo! Mario has to stop the Koopalings from all 7 worlds. Bowser then kidnaps Peach while we weren't looking. You idiot! Yep, this is another Mario story with no nothing. Honestly, yeah, who cares? Super Mario Bros. 3 features brand new worlds to explore. Some of them became staples for the series. Grassland, the typical Mario world. The world where you learn the mechanics of the game and prepares you for the challenges ahead. Desert Land. It's one of the only times I'll say the desert levels are actually kind of fun. Waterland. The world with a lot of water levels. Not really my favorite, but the aesthetics are nice. The frog suit is actually useful in this world. Giant Land. Just like everyone else, this is my favorite world. I don't have a single original opinion. Who would have thought? Everything is huge in this world. Aside from the castle levels for some reason, those are normal. Kinda sucks because a giant thwomp would actually go hard. Skyland. First 3 to 4 levels are pretty neat, but the moment you reach the skies, it's a hit or miss. Some levels might be good, but it's also responsible for my most hated levels in the game, 5-9, and an auto-scroller at that. But I'll talk about it in a bit. Snowland, my second favorite world in the game. I'm one of the few people that likes the ice physics in this game. It may be slippery, but I embrace the challenge. Or maybe it's because I like snow-themed levels and my mind goes brr when I see snow. Pipeland, sadly my least favorite world in the game. It's just not fun. At least it gives us more opportunities to get the Hammer Brother suit, but aside from that, no. Hell, oh my bad, Darkland. Despite looking like hell, the levels aren't that hard. The world mostly includes the ship levels, which can be either really boring or really annoying. There's no in between. At least by the end we saved Peach and...
What? No, another castle? That wasn't very funny, you assholes.
Also new to Super Mario Bros. 3 is the world map. They show you exactly where the levels are, the toad houses, the castles, and bonus games where you can win extra lives or even power-ups. They're pretty charming and have some pretty nice music. You can also fight some Hammer Brothers for some extra items. If you're lucky, you find a ship where you get a whole lot of coins. I'm in heaven. Another thing that's new to the series is the auto-scroller levels. I hate these levels so much. They're a massive pace breaker, super slow, and super annoying. There's also no checkpoints in this game, so if you die, it's all the way back to the beginning of the level. Thankfully, the levels in this game are pretty short, meaning you can beat them in a flash if you're good enough. Okay, we went for too long without talking about this, so let's do it! The power-ups. We have the standard Mushroom, Fire Flower, and Starman, but we also have quite a number of new ones. The Super Leaf. Mario transforms into a raccoon of some kind, and he can fly with his tail. That's kinda weird, but hey, it's pretty useful, and it'll be the power-up you mostly use. The Frog Suit. The worst power-up to use on land, but on water, the undisputed GOAT. It's true that the penguin suit is better in every single way, but let's not worry about that for now. The Tanuki suit, a mainstay in the series. It's pretty much the raccoon tail, but better. Why? Because you can turn into a stone, and I like when games add a useless feature just for me. The Hammer Brothers suit. This is the most overpowered thing in the game. It can literally kill anything. Yes, that includes the Thwomps and Boos. But thanks to its overpowerness, it's also incredibly rare, so don't lose it. There's also the shoe that appears for one level. Definitely Peak. Hey, wait a minute. How come most power-ups are suits? Are you telling me that Super Mario Bros. 3 is a play? Also new to this game is the flute. You use that to skip worlds, great for speedrunning. Super Mario Bros. 3 also added the Koopalings. My favorite. These little boogers debuted in this game, and boy did they overstay their welcome. Also, co-op is back in this game. This was super fun. I always say that Mario 3 is better with a friend or family member. Laughing at each other as we die is so fun. Super Mario Bros. 3 is still a great game. Sure, the controls may be floaty, some levels did not age well, like the auto-scrollers, and the levels are pretty short. However, with a lot of replay value, fun co-op, great power-ups, and engaging worlds, Super Mario Bros. 3 does exactly what a sequel should do. Take what worked from its predecessor, improve on its shortcomings, and multiply the fun factor. Does it deserve to be called one of the greatest video games of all time? For sure. Is it one of the most fun I've had playing with friends? Sure. 9 out of 10. Still great over 30 years later. And with that, we say farewell to the NES and move on to the last game we'll be talking about for this video. The NES started strong and ended strong, but now we'll go to different pastures and talk about the game that is known as Super Mario Bros. 4 in Japan. Super Mario World. Guess what? Super Mario World is yet another launch title. It's the second time at this point that a Mario game is a launch title, and it ends up being a banger. How's that happen? That never happens. Mario and Peach, and Luigi if you're doing co-op, decide to go on a vacation on Dinosaur Island, and then Bowser kidnaps Peach. Incredible. I find it so funny how the years pass and Nintendo try less and less with the story. I did mention Dinosaur Island, right? Well, guess who makes his grand debut? That's right, it's the dinosaur who reproduces asexually, Yoshi. I love Yoshi. He's such a great companion. He can eat almost anything, use the Koopas to gain abilities like shooting fire, stomp the ground, and fly. He can also eat apples, and after eating like 5, he'll hatch an egg that'll give you some goodies. Even after you complete a level, he'll come with you! Unless we're talking about ghost houses or fortresses. Oh man. But for the most part, Yoshi's cool. But how did they bring Mario into this game? Let's get into that, shall we? Mario controls pretty much the same he did in Mario Bros. 3. The only difference is that his jump isn't that floaty. Mario also has some new abilities, like the spin jump that can obliterate enemies and can also jump on spiky enemies. That's actually kind of awesome. Speaking of, Mario is super OP in this game. No joke, he can do stuff in this game that for any other character would be a huge feat. But for Mario, it's nothing. Mopping a tower out of existence, destroying it while hitting it with his feet. He takes an explosion point blank in the face. It's honestly great. You could say this was the first Mario game where Nintendo saw how ridiculous the concept of this world is and just decided to do the most insane shit with him. And it wouldn't be the last either. Another thing that this game brought for the first time in the series was that Mario could restore an item into an item box. I think I said that correctly. I don't know why I write it that way. That's so weird. So say you get hit and you're small Mario. You'll be good as new since you have that power up in your disposal. Another thing this game brought was Mario kicking the Koopa shells up. It's great if you want to get some 1-ups or whatnot, but sadly the level themes aren't as creative or fun like in Mario Bros. 3. The level design is for the most part good. I did say for the most part because of all things World could have brought back from Mario 3, it was the auto-scrolling levels! Gee, thanks Nintendo. Another thing Nintendo brought back, the Koopalings. The castle levels are fun and they provide a decent challenge, but the Koopalings brings forth probably the easiest and most pathetic collection of bosses in the entire series. If you thought they were easy in Mario Bros. 3, then you clearly haven't played this game because they're about as hard as I am when I see Ganon from Final Fantasy VI. Super Mario World also didn't even bother to bring back almost every power-up from 3. No Tanuki, no Frog Suit, no Hammer Bro. A downgrade in my opinion. Instead, we have the classic Mushroom, the Fire Flower, which for the first time in the series turns enemies into coins, and Starman. But at the very least, we got one of the most overpowered, well, power-ups in the entire series, the Cape Feather. With this baby, you can skip levels like it's nothing, kill almost any enemy, and pretty much make any power-up before this look like shit. This is pretty fun. World would also have multiple secrets. Some secrets unlock other levels, and other times, it'll unlock a bonus stage. By pressing a switch, you'll make more blocks appear. Really convenient and gives you a reason to explore these levels. You'll also unlock the Star World and then the Special World where the hardest levels are in, with cheesy 90s names. Tubular, Funky, ugh. Like I mentioned, the level themes aren't as cool as 3, but for some reason, they have food names. Vanilla, Cookie, Chocolate. They don't look anywhere near those things. Also, new mainstays for the series are the Wigglers, Bonsai Bills, the Big Boos, and Kamek. Yep, Kamek debuted in this game. Also making its debut is Bowser's Clown Car. Yep, a clown car. Look, who am I to judge? And also, who can forget the haunted houses? Me. I actually remembered this after I finished the script. Oops. Also, co-op mode was super fun. Some of the most fun I've had in my gaming life. I have a friend who we used to play on his phone and emulate both this and Mario Bros 3. We played it a lot and laughed so much. It was genuinely an amazing experience. Gio, if you're watching this, let's play again someday. Super Mario World has aged gracefully, which is a shocker for a launch title in the early 90s. The controls are great, it brings a lot of mainstays in the series, lots of laughter, and all in all, a fun experience that I feel it won't age one day. Aside from the Koopalings, this game is 2D Mario at its finest. I give it a 9 out of 10, still great all these years later. Now, which game do I prefer? This one or Super Mario Bros. 3? Hey look, the world has changed! Whoa, crazy!
And with that, we finished the first 5 games in this series. Have they all aged great? No, not really, but for the most part, it's pretty good. This is a strong beginning for a strong franchise. And now, instead of going with the first 3D Mario game ever, the one that changed everything for the franchise, we are going to go a little lower now. We're going to the Game Boy and talk about the Super Mario Land duology. Yep, there's 2 games. And no, we will not talk about Super Mario Land 3 Wario Land, because this is a Mario Marathon, not a Wario Marathon. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time when we talk about the Mario Land duology. Bye bye! Why am I doing this to myself?